On any given day, in any given room, if you look around, 9 out of 10 people are on their phone. We can't ignore the fact that technology touches every aspect of our life today, including our real estate practices. As somebody who teaches real estate salespeople how to build really successful businesses, the greatest challenge I face in my classes isn't teaching people how to be great salespeople. It's how to use the technology their companies have gone out and invested in. Salespeople are often really frustrated. Sometimes the technology is too complicated, or other times the salespeople are really A-type personalities who won't sit still long enough to learn how to use the technology. But in any event, there's no getting around it today. If you're going to be in real estate, you got to use technology. So the first suggestion I have for you is you should do a tech audit. You should do a hardware audit and a software audit. What does that really mean? It means taking a look at your equipment. Because one of the challenges we have in our classes is that a salesperson might be trying to load a new software onto their hardware, and their hardware is out of date, can't run the software. The software is too heavy and the hardware isn't strong enough and is not robust enough to be able to carry that technology and be able to make it work. So my first suggestion is that your hardware shouldn't be any older than, say, between 2 to 4 years. Your notebook computer shouldn't be any more than 4 years old. Your tablet shouldn't be any more than 4 years old. And your smartphone shouldn't be any more than 4 years old. So every 2 to 4 years, you got to update all of the hardware. And that doesn't mean you have to buy the most expensive computer. It just means you buy a good computer that's going to get the job done. You don't have to buy something some gamer would be using and, with lots of RAM and lots of memory and all of that stuff. I mean, we just need to run Microsoft, and we need to be able to access the internet and send out some emails and run our CRM system. It's that sort of technology we want to use. And the same thing with your smartphone. One of the great challenges I have in class is somebody wants to run some sort of app on their smartphone, and they bring it in and they were using an iPhone 5 or something, and the phone doesn't even do updates, let alone run new software. So when I say all of that, it's really about taking some time at this moment to take a look at your equipment, and does this need to be one of the investments you need to make this year? I would also recommend that you run an up-to-date version of Microsoft Office 365. When I say that, it's really not that, because most of the companies out there have that free online version that you can get. But I want you to pay the subscription and get the offline version. Why? Because there's lots of times we're working, we don't have an internet connection, and I want you to be really effective using that tool and that resource. So you want to be able to access it even when you can't get a good internet connection. Like a really successful master salesperson, you need to invest in the right tools. So spend a couple of bucks and get the offline version. On top of that, I would go on to say that when we're working with agents and we're in class and they bring their hardware in and they're frustrated because something isn't working, what we find 9 times out of 10, their hardware is not synchronized. That means their notebook's not talking to their tablet and their tablet's not talking to their cell phone. How many times have I seen somebody who's handed me their cell phone or their smartphone and they want us to help them upload an app on it? And what do we see? They got 6,000 unread messages in their inbox. Now, are those messages really unread? No. They've read them somewhere else, but they're afraid to delete them. They have hundreds, sometimes thousands of emails that they've saved in that inbox. Let me tell you what you want to do with this. You want, first of all your hardware needs to talk, so that when you delete something on your notebook, when you open up your tablet, it's deleted there and on your smartphone. And on top of that, we want to make sure that anything that's in our inbox, you deal with it. Meaning it's either moved to a subfolder because you're going to have to go and do something else with it, or you've deleted it. The only thing that should be in your inbox is something that has yet to be dealt with. Otherwise, if you've looked at it, you either move it to a subfolder or you delete it. And when you delete it, I want your hardware all talking to each other. So if you delete it off your smartphone, it's not going to be on your tablet and it's not going to be on your notebook. This is going to help you keep very organized so nothing slips between the cracks. Next one I have for you is cloud storage. And it's either OneDrive, Google Drive, Dropbox. But the point is, we don't want to save anything on our tablet, our notebook. We want to save it to the cloud. And let me give you an example. A few years ago, I was teaching in class, and I dropped my tablet and I smashed the screen in the morning. Now, because we use cloud storage for everything and all of our files are stored on the cloud, my wife Tina could run over to Best Buy. She bought me a new Microsoft Surface Pro. She brought it back, loaded up some of the software that we needed, and downloaded everything from our cloud storage, handed it to me at lunchtime, and it was like my old computer was back running again, even though it was brand new. The real benefit here is the information that's not stored on your computer. See, if it's stored on your computer and you lose it, that's worth a fortune to you. It's worth more than the price of the hardware. The years of information that you've acquired and you've organized and you've kept for research information, we don't want to lose that. So let's make sure we store it off of our hardware. Should anything happen to our hardware, we can easily go to our cloud storage and download everything and get ourselves back up right as rain again. The next one I have for you is back up your computer. We like Carbonite. We like to back it up because should we lose anything, or for instance, should somebody try to ransom our information and hold us hostage, we can go to our Carbonite backup as of last night and download everything else, and we're back up and running again. It's really that protection that we're looking for, that safeguard. Next one I have for you on my list while you're looking at your technology is to make sure you update your virus and your malware. PCmatic, Malwarebytes, Norton Security, lots of really good ones out there for you. Take some time, get whatever one you like the best, but make sure it's loaded on all of your devices, and make sure your devices know to go up to the internet every night and download all of the updates so that you're constantly up to date and all of your security protocols are up to date and relevant. And then I would recommend that you install a VPN, and that really allows you to send information and have it encrypted. So we in real estate often find ourselves working in a Starbucks or working remotely, and we could put ourselves in a very delicate position if we were to send something and it was intercepted by a hacker, let's say. What a VPN allows you to do is when you send something, it's encrypted. So if somebody tried to intercept that message, even if they did, they couldn't really make sense of it because it's encrypted. And the same thing when somebody sends you a message, it's encrypted as well. So again, it's just another layer of security, but I really recommend that you have a VPN on all of your devices so that we can protect any information that you're sending or receiving. Now, I don't know about you, but I am certainly overwhelmed with the number of passwords today. When I look at my bank accounts and I look at every online account and everything's got passwords. And they all want really complicated, sophisticated passwords that are really hard to hack. I appreciate the security, but the last time I checked, can you imagine this? I had 150 separate passwords, 157 passwords I was supposed to remember. And I see people all the time in my classes showing up and they got all their passwords written down in a book. What happens if you lost the book? What would that be like? Oh my God, it would be horrible. So what I've discovered is we use a password manager called Dashlane. Now there are other companies out there, and again, I suggest that you go out and do a little investigation. But I love this because all of our passwords are encrypted and stored, and the password manager sets up all these really crazy passwords which would be really hard to hack. And then you only need one password to access it, or in some cases even facial recognition on your phone makes it possible. The point is I've got 157 unique passwords that I could never remember, nor would I probably even organize the way they did it. And so it makes it virtually impossible. And with my iPhone today, facial recognition, there's nothing for me to remember. It's beautiful. So again, as part of your whole technology platform, I want you to get a password manager in place to simplify your life, and from a security perspective, to make sure none of your important information is ever stolen. Now, I know there's times when you're frustrated with technology, I am too, and we're looking for answers. The easiest way to look for an answer, the best place to find an answer, before you ask anybody and get in line to talk to one of the tech experts or whatever it is you're going to do, is Google it. What I have found is that there are all kinds of experts out there that have done little 2-minute video clips on how to do something. So this is it really requires you to remember, whenever you got a problem, Google it. And I'll give you an example. I was topping up the tires in my sports car last summer, and I was over at the place getting my, you put a few bucks in and you fill your tires up with air. And while I was there, another fellow pulled up in a really nice Audi. And he was looking at his tires and he was looking around his car, and he said, I wanted to top up some air pressure in my tires, but he said, I don't know how much air pressure the tire takes. And he said, I can't find my owner's manual for my car. So he said, I don't know what to do. And I said, do you have your phone? And he said, yes. I said, Google it. He looked at me and he said, that's brilliant. Took out his phone, he Googled it. He said, there, I know exactly how many pounds per pressure I'm supposed to put in. The point is, every time you run into a problem, Google it. Because I promise you, the answer is already there, and somebody's done a really easy to use video to show you how to do it.